Hi folks, my name is Brian, and at the behest of my friend Joe, I decided to record some of the stuff that I do for this channel. Now, firstly, I'm not good at editing, so you're probably going to get some long, boring things that are going to be roughly spliced together, so enjoy that. Today what we're making is Kisili Kupus, basically a sour head to make sarmas, which is an Eastern European thing. It's going to take a few months, so I'm going to show you how it begins. What you're going to do is you're going to start with cabbages. We've already done a bunch. So what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that they are all hearted out so that the core itself is completely gone. And when you look inside here, you have really good access to leaves. So what I want to do is I don't want to make a running smooth cut with this because you will slip with your knife and you'll cut yourself. And as fun as that may be, and as funny as it is to your friends, it's not entertaining. So when you first do this with a paring knife, it's about 3 inches. You're gonna get in there, you're gonna get this small cord. So as you can see, you're gonna get this small divot right here. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna get in here and just make sure that you get that whole heart out. Because that is how the salt actually is going to penetrate. So get in there, nice and deep. You're gonna get in there about 3 inches or so, just to make sure you get the core completely out. It's a pretty simple process. Try to make it as clean on the inside as you can. But once you get down into the leaf portion, the salt, once you get it really packed in there, is gonna be enough. All right, in toasting the spice, the seasonings that you use is actually incredibly important, especially in this, since you're gonna be putting this in cold and room temperature water for a couple of months. You wanna toast off your whole spices simply because it's gonna kill any of the bacteria that's in there, and you don't want that transferred. So what I have here is I have 2 tablespoons of caraway, 2 tablespoons of cumin, 4 tablespoons of coriander, 4 tablespoons of black pepper, and 2 tablespoons of fennel. Now this is a recipe that I created essentially myself, since I had no clue how to do it, but I knew basically the process. You can look up other recipes for Kisili Kupus and it will tell you nothing about herbs or spices. From my own personal experience, it's actually incredibly important to add these things. Otherwise it's just a sour head, you know. Make something that really pops, something exciting and that is really wonderful and delicious. When you're toasting your spices, you don't need to toast them that long. Toast them on a lower heat. I've got this just, a little bit more above medium. What you'll do is you'll really be able to smell them when they pop. You don't want to toast them too long. You're gonna get them a few minutes. All you need to do is get them really hot to the touch, and that's going to get them cooking and releasing the aroma, which is going to really give you the flavor that you want for your pickling process. This spice combination is actually kind of in my own head. I was looking for tastes of Eastern Europe. My family is Serbian by heritage, but I really didn't know what were good herbs to use in the area, so I actually just did a search for herbs of Serbia, and it came up that fennel, cumin, coriander, black pepper, all that stuff were real common, and then I kind of felt dumb for doing that because, well, they're common everywhere. So here, if you listen, you can kind of hear them cracking a little bit. So at that point, I'm just going to take this off heat, put them into a bowl. All right, this is actually the most important part, is the salt. You need to use kosher salt. I do prefer Morton's. No, they're not sponsoring me because this is my first video. But this is the best simply because how it dissolves in water. I use this in all of my curing stuff. There is no true, precise, and accurate measurement to this because you have different cavities on each one. So all you're gonna do is you're gonna pour this in here, just like this. Pour it in there and then pack it down. Really get it in there. Make it as flat as you possibly can. So it'll divot down a little bit more just because of how you're pressing it. Then you're going to fill it up a little bit more. Just keep pressing it down. That's all you're going to do. It's a pretty easy process. Then when you put it in your container, these are food safe containers. I don't have one of those cool Crocs because they're really expensive. But But as long as you get a good food safe container, and this is a food safe canned brew that I had from my restaurant days, this works really the best. So you're gonna set each one down inside of there, just like this, then you're gonna stack them as best you can. All right, so as you can see, we fit 4 into this one. So now this is actually an incredibly important thing. This is so important. I learned this from experience. If you remotely have gross water, if you have iron water, water that needs to be treated because it's kind of gross and moderately funky, use distilled water for this. If you use your sink water, in about 2 weeks, the water on top is going to turn into nasty black mold, and it's going to smell like a body wherever you put this, and you may as well burn your house down. I learned this through experience. Fortunately, the water I have here in my house is actually very good water. So all you want to do is you want to make sure you have cold water. Then all you're going to do is fill it. You got to make sure that this is up, so the salt is facing up, because the salt is going to absorb down into the cabbage as it goes. So we're going to fill this, and we're going to keep this inside. So today is September 30th. I want to give these 80 to 120 days. So I should have some done right around Christmas time, and then the other one's done right around serving Christmas time for sarmas. So this is all you're gonna do. You're just gonna fill it until the water reaches the tank. So as you can see, we're about full of water. We're just gonna let this fill up just so it covers it as completely as you can. Your herbs are gonna float, and that's fine. Essentially, it's just gonna make a tea, for lack of a better term. So what you wanna do is you wanna cover this as much as you can. So this one's almost covered. You have to let the water cover it. The water is gonna fill with salt, and this is the most simple brine that you can really make. It's effective and it's truly simple. So what you're gonna do here is upset your significant other or somebody and grab a plate. Preferably one that they don't care for that much. I love you, honey. But you're gonna put this on top of here. Because what this is gonna do is this is gonna keep pressure on your cabbage so that it stays weighed down during the whole process. If it dries out, that's when rot can occur. So all we're gonna do now is close this up tight, and I'll revisit this in a few months, but this is gonna be the official video. This should be done mid-December, so about 90-ish days, somewhere in that area. I've got 2 more in smaller containers, but this is the big one.